At the beginning of the story, we see a small child walking alone in a deserted area, stepping quietly. It's extremely hot here, and even stranger is the fact that the child is eating a human finger. But why is he eating it? And why is he walking alone in such a desert-like place? Then, we see a person named Wyndham, who is walking through a deserted area in Arizona, heading somewhere. He had brought a car, but he stops the car because he decides he can't drive it any further. He takes some food and a camera from his bag and heads to a high spot. Today, there will be a solar eclipse, and Wyndham has come to take some pictures. After reaching there, he spends some time sitting, and before evening, he heads back. On the road, he spots a boy sitting alone and crying. Wyndham was very surprised to see the boy sitting alone in such a secluded place. He then asked the boy, "What are you doing here?" The boy replied, "I am lost." Hearing this, Wyndham thought that there might be some of his family members nearby. But from where he was standing, he could see nothing for a long distance. So, Wyndham decided to take the boy with him. However, the boy didn't go with him and instead went in the opposite direction, saying, "My parents are that way." Wyndham, wondering whether it was a good idea to leave the boy alone in such a desolate area, decided to follow him. The boy was walking very fast ahead. Seeing this, Wyndham told him to stop, but the boy didn't listen to him. As they walked, the boy led Wyndham a long way. Eventually, the boy stopped and asked Wyndham for water. The boy drank the water, and then gave a slight smile. Afterward, the boy left. From the boy's behavior, it was clear that he had intentionally brought Wyndham to this place. Wyndham realized that he had made a mistake as it would soon be evening, and he had moved far away from his car. If he started walking back now, it would be completely dark by the time he reached his car. And that's exactly what he feared would happen. During the day, the place was extremely hot, but at night it became freezing cold. So, he starts feeling very cold. However, since he doesn't have any extra clothes, he lies down next to a rock. But due to the cold, sleeping there becomes quite difficult for him. After a while, he suddenly hears a sound. Upon hearing the sound, he moves forward. He sees that in a low area there is a house. He is surprised upon seeing the house because such a desert-like place, where it is hard to find any person, and the heat is so intense that no one can stay there for long, yet someone has built a house here. Isn't this quite strange, friends? Wyndham moves forward and sees a woman talking to herself. There is a ladder built to descend into the low area. He slowly climbs down the ladder. When he reaches the bottom, he notices strange things placed around. Then, he knocks on the door of the house, but the woman doesn't come out. So, he enters the house on his own. The woman is inside. Her name is Lena. What is strange is that the woman is not scared when she sees Wyndham and doesn't ask him anything. Just think about it, in such a place, the sudden arrival of a man would make anyone terrified. Since he didn't speak, Wyndham says, "I got lost when I came here." Lena doesn't say anything. After a while, she says, "Sit down, have some food." But Wyndham doesn't eat the food, as it is too cold outside, so he stays inside the house. Lena doesn't say anything more, and she continues eating on her own. Wyndham says, "I wanted to help a boy, but he deliberately brought me here. He took me so far that I got lost." Lena doesn't respond to these words and says, "You should sleep now." Following her suggestion, Wyndham spends the night there. In the morning, he packs his things and prepares to leave. Before he leaves, Wyndham leaves some money for Lena. However, when he steps outside, he is shocked because the ladder he had used to descend the night before is no longer there. The place is very deep, surrounded only by tall mountains. When Lena wakes up, Wyndham asks her, "Where did the ladder go?" At first, Lena doesn't respond. When asked again, she says, "I don't know anything about it. Who puts the ladder here and who removes it, I have no idea." Hearing this, Wyndham asks, "Were there any other people here, apart from us?" Lena doesn't say anything about that either. Wyndham starts taking pictures of some things around him. He notices that there are several paintings on the side of the mountain. In the afternoon, he tries to climb up the mountain, but he fails. So, he is forced to stay there for the rest of the day. The next day, he takes some tools like a hammer and cloth. He wraps the cloth around his hand because the rocks get very hot during the day. Slowly, with the hammer, he begins to climb a little higher. But climbing without any rope is actually very difficult. Still, he manages to climb somewhat higher. At that very moment, he hears some voices of children from above. It then seems like someone from above has cut off the head of an animal. While noticing this, Wyndham falls down from the height. Falling from such a height, he becomes senseless. He lies there all day. Later, when he regains consciousness in the evening, he screams in pain because the hammer has pierced his leg. The most surprising thing is that Lina didn't come to help him even once during the day. But when she sees him groaning in pain, Lina comes to help him. She takes the hammer out of his leg. He stays in bed for 2 days. When his body feels a little better, he tries to get out again. He starts shouting loudly, saying, "If anyone is up there, please help me." But there is no response from above. In his frustration, Wyndham asks Lina, "What's going on here? Who are you people?" Hearing this, Lina gets scared and says, "I can take care of you and provide you with food." Hearing this, Wyndham gets even angrier. He says, "I don't need any of this. I just want to go home." Lina then tries to come closer to him, but Wyndham tells her to go away. Then Wyndham sits in one place and notices a boy above. The boy is with a child. The boy asks from above, "Friend, what do you need? Why were you shouting for help?" Seeing the boy, Wyndham feels very happy. He replies, "I am stuck here. Can you help me?" The boy says, "Of course I can. What do you need?" Wyndham then asks, "Can you bring me a rope?" The boy replies, "My sister wants to know, what is your favorite color?" Hearing this, Wyndham is very surprised. Without thinking, he immediately says a color and tells them, "I really like red." Then he asks, "Now, can you help me a little?" The boy says, "I'm bringing the rope, just wait here." And with that, the boy leaves. After a while, the boy comes and throws a rope, saying, "Tie yourself tightly with this rope." Wyndham gets very happy and ties himself up, thinking that now he might be able to get out of there. Then the people above start slowly pulling him up. But right in the middle of the journey, they stop, and he ends up hanging at a place above. Wyndham realizes that these are the people who have trapped him here with a plan. From above, he sees 5 boys and a little girl among them. And one of those 5 boys is the same boy we saw earlier. The boys start laughing at him and saying various nasty things while swinging the rope around. Wyndham says, "Stop, stop. I will fall," and starts calling out to Lina. Lina comes outside and tells the children in her own way to stop. But by then, Wyndham has lost consciousness and his head has hit a stone. Lina brings him inside. Later that night, when he regains consciousness, he gets up and comes outside. Despite his condition, he continues trying to figure out how to escape from here. Lina then tries to calm him down and tells him, "This is what your fate has written for you, and you cannot change it." From this, it is clear that Lina had been here at some point and had been trapped by the same boys like Wyndham. Perhaps she had also tried to escape, but now she has given up hope, because she understands very well that she will never be able to leave this place. Lina has also learned to live here. Later, those boys come to bring her food. What they actually want will become clear to us a bit later. Meanwhile, Wyndham has realized that he won't be able to leave this place so easily. He waits for a while, and then to keep himself busy, he grows some vegetables there. After that, Lina starts taking care of him, washing his clothes, and cooking food for him. Slowly, Wyndham is getting used to living here. The boys send essential items for them here, and they even send food on time. But one question arises. Why are these boys helping them? Wyndham asks Lina where the food and other things are coming from, and who these children are. Lina then replies, "I actually don't know. I just need food, and as long as I get it, that's enough for me." Later that night, Wyndham drinks some alcohol to forget his sorrow. Lina warns him not to drink too much. Wyndham replies, "I am not a child, and I will not listen to everything you tell me." Meanwhile, while Lina was changing her dress, Wyndham, in his drunken state, gets intimate with her. The next morning, he tries to find a way out of here again, but can't find any route. As time passes, his worries double. Will he be stuck here for the rest of his life? One afternoon, while working, a boy from above tries to talk to him. This boy was different from the others. The boy asks, "What are you doing here?" Wyndham begins to chat with him, hoping this boy might help him find a way out of this place. The boy tells him, "My name is Nikasu, and I really want to study. Could you teach me?" Wyndham replies, "Of course, I can teach you." Afterward, the boy gives Wyndham some food and leaves. While working in the soil, Wyndham finds a ring and a car key buried in the ground. Seeing this, he immediately understands that many others like him must have been trapped here before, and probably, they all have died. He then talks to Lina. Inside the room, Wyndham sees a picture of a young girl. Wyndham then asks Lina, "Is this your mother's picture?" Lina responds, "This is my first mother." Lina doesn't say anything else, and there's a mystery here, which we will learn by the end of the story. The next day, some animals destroy the trees that Wyndham had planted. They both fix the trees. Then, a boy named Nikasa comes there. He asks Wyndham, "Now, will you teach me something?" Wyndham tells him, "Look, it's not possible to teach you anything from so low to so high. If you can somehow get me out of here, then we can go far away." Nikasa replies, "If the other boys are around, I will never be able to do it. But when they go far away or sleep, I might be able to do something. You just need to be ready." Wyndham says, "All right, I'll be ready." Just then, another boy arrives. He starts talking strangely with Nikasu. Then that boy takes him away from there. One night, when they were having dinner together, Wyndham starts telling Lina about the outside world. After hearing Lina speak, he is sure that she has never been outside. She doesn't even know what the outside world actually looks like. Meanwhile, in the morning, when Lina goes outside, she starts crying loudly. Then, it is revealed that they have tied up the dead body of the boy named Nikasu up there. Seeing this, Lina starts screaming madly. Wyndham is very sad to see this. Lina cries loudly and says, "Nikasu was my son." Then she says to Wyndham, "My son died because of you." She hits him with a piece of wood until he falls unconscious. 9 months pass, and during these 9 months, Lina locks Wyndham in a cage. Wyndham has now become like an animal. He is kept alive with food and water, but he is not allowed to go outside. One day, a girl passes by above. When she sees Wyndham in that condition, she is very surprised. Wyndham screams, "Please help me." The girl approaches to help, but after a while, the boys catch the girl, and the bad boys kill her in front of Wyndham's eyes. Seeing this, Wyndham completely loses his mind. Then, one night, a strange event occurs. He sees many children there. But whose children are they? He cannot figure it out. Later, one day, Wyndham finds out that Lina is pregnant. That means the child in Lina's womb is Wyndham's. So, Wyndham tells Lina, "You can't do everything alone. You need help." Lina responds, "I don't need your help. I can do everything." Wyndham starts crying and says, "I'll listen to whatever you say. My life is already over. Please free me from this. I have a right over the child in your womb." Then Wyndham says, "Why are you keeping me alive? Either kill me or free me from this hellish torment." A few days later, the time comes when Lina is about to give birth to the child in her womb. He asks Wyndham to help him out of the cage. Despite not wanting to, Wyndham agrees to help him. He has been out of the cage after a long time, so he can't walk properly. However, the strange thing is that he sees the ladder there. He could leave whenever he wants, but instead, he helps Lina. After a while, Lina gives birth to a child, and both of them are very happy to see it. But just then, the boys come from behind and kill Wyndham. The boys then say, "We did this for you, Mom." Lina doesn't say anything. A few months later, we see Lina taking great care of the baby. After a few months, Wyndham's body is found outside, and the movie ends here. Well, friends, even though the story has ended, I know you all have many questions in your minds. I will now answer these questions one by one. The first question is, who are these boys? Well, these boys are actually part of a team. They are all illegal children of Lina. And keeping different kinds of people locked up is their hobby. Now, the question might arise, who is Lina? Lina is not a girl who is locked up. Everything is happening according to her plan. I mean, these boys were doing everything according to their mother's instructions. First, they lock up a man here. Then, Lina attracts him to become intimate with him. You must have noticed earlier that Lina attracted Brandam by changing her dress in front of him. Anyway, later when Lina has a child, they kill that man. And if you look at those boys, you'll see that each one is of a different size. This means Lina gave birth to them at different times, and they are all mentally disturbed. Only the boy named Nikasu was not insane. That's why he wanted to save Brandam. For this reason, Lina told her other sons to kill him. And the crying of Lina was all just an act. They had created their own unique language, and they spoke in that language. They fulfilled their twisted desires by doing these horrific things. But someone must have started this, right? The woman whose picture we saw in the house was the one who started it all. That's why Lina called her my first mother. This was the answer to all the questions. I hope I have answered all the questions that were in your mind. How did you like this story? Let me know by commenting. If you liked it, please give a like. Subscribe and stay with us. Thank you for watching the video.